Welcome, Counter Slammers, to another model review. This week I'm excited to bring you two models. The first one being Aiakos, Scourge and Meridius, and the second being Sturgis the Corrupted. These are two of the Kickstarter models that have been released, that people have been getting in the mail, and I've got mine, got them painted, ready to play. So I want to go ahead and review them for you guys, as well as show you my painting job, see what you think, and let's go over, we'll see what these models can do. So first, let's go over Aiakos. So this guy here is our journeyman warcaster for Crix, and he's got some abilities I think that a lot of other journeyman casters really wish they had, and we'll get into those here in just a second. So first, let's take a look at his stats. He is a 4 focus, which is pretty average, 5 hitboxes, and he's a speed 6, strength 6, mat 6, 6, and rap 5, defense 14, armor 14. He also has built in, he's got fearless and stealth. So I think stealth is the first thing that a lot of these journeyman casters wish they had, but they don't. So it's going to keep him alive on the table against range a lot longer. Although he does like to get kind of into the thick of things, and you'll kind of see here in a second. So he's gonna, I think he's going to be a really good assassination piece as far as like getting in there and kind of getting those quick strikes or getting things out of the way to clear paths for your bigger stuff to come in and start killing things. So he's got his harpoon, which is a range 6, rate of fire 1, pow 10, and he has his blade, which is a pound strength of 12. Both are magic weapons. I'd say that he costs 3 points. He's pretty, I would say, pretty average as far as stats goes for Crix. There's really not much that really leaps out, except for, ironically enough, he has jump, which means that when he's done with his normal movement, he can actually be placed anywhere completely within 5 inches of where he's already at. So combine that with the harpoon, that gives him 17-inch threat range. I'd say that's pretty good compared to most of the other journeyman casters. And so there's that. He, and of course with the jump ability, he can avoid free strikes by jumping right into the thick of things with some people. And of course with the 4 focus, he can buy more attacks. And with his harpoon, he has the drag ability, which many other models with different harpoons can do. So you hit a small base model, drag it to you, you get a free melee attack, and you can keep buying more as you go along. He is a journeyman warcaster, which means he has a battle group. You can take any jack with him. That includes characters, and a lot of people may want to take the Death Jack or Nightmare or Kraken with him. And I know it's going to sound a little odd, but given his spell list, he's got 2 spells that we're going to look at here in a second. It can really pay off actually to have some of these bigger, scarier jacks in there. We'll take a look first at his first spell, which is called Deathbringers, which basically gives, while his jacks, while they're in this control area, they get grievous wounds to their attacks. So think Death Jack and Nightmare with grievous wounds, which means the models they hit can't heal or be healed and can't transfer damage. So I have a feeling Horde's factions are really going to come to hate this guy, especially given all his abilities and his maneuverability to get around things. Legion may not care quite as much, being able to see through his stealth, but anything that has trouble with stealth is really going to, I think, rue this dude. So the other one is, his other spell is Escort, which I think is another spell that a lot of these German casters wish they had. Escort basically giving his jacks +2 extra inches of speed, and if they're within 2 inches of him, or I'm sorry, within 3 inches of him, then he gets +2 armor, so it makes him armor 16 effectively, not counting the focus he's setting on. He's going to be a lot of fun to play. I think you're going to see him in a lot of lists, because him being able to kind of hand out focus, it means it's going to take the focus burden off of your casters, which a lot of them are going to really appreciate, especially like Venethrax, Terminus, Asphyxius, Denegra, any of these guys who really want to hold on to their focus or need them for their spell casting. Aiakos is really going to be their answer, so don't be shocked to see him in a ton of lists. So I think he's pretty cool. We look forward to playing him on the table. And so next, get to Sturgis the Corrupted, our caster. Now this guy here is going to be probably a little more rare than, at least for the time being, because he's, obviously he's a Crix warcaster, but he didn't get released with Vengeance, or he's not in the Vengeance book. He's strictly the Tactics release. Now he may come out when the other models come out with their alternate sculpts here later on. But Sturgis right now, he comes in kind of a 2-pack if you get him, because you can put him together as a Signar version, which I'm not going to go over today because I don't play Signar. I don't want to tell you guys how to play him. I'd hate to screw that kind of thing up for you. But the Corrupted version, the Crix version, is, I think, going to be a lot of fun and pretty devastating to play. And a lot of people are kind of poo-pooing him because they say he's a poor man's P. Gaspy. I would take a little bit issue with that. I think he's actually got his own, doing his own pretty well. So let's take a look at his stats. He's a focus 6, so he's got a 12-inch control area, and he's a speed 6, strength 6, mat 7, 667. He's a rat 5, defense 15, armor 16 with a command of 8, and of course he is undead. He has 18 hit boxes, and he's got 6 warjack points. He has 3 weapons. First one being a ranged attack, which is range 12, rate of fire 1, POW 12, hand cannon, which I'm sure is probably pretty standard in a lot of Signar lists, since he was technically Signar first. He's also got his 2 blades, which you can see as staff. Each blade has a different ability into it, which we'll get into here in just a second, but they're both power strength 13 reach magic weapons, which is pretty nice. So again, I would look at him and I would say he's probably pretty average for Crick's casters. And I think given his spell list, he kind of takes a little bit of what Crick's does well, and he just gets all that kind of built in with his spell list. But let's get into his abilities before we get into his spells. First one's going to be he has Chain Attack Dark Shroud. So what that means is when he attacks with his melee weapons, and it hits with both weapons initially. With a mat 7, that's probably a pretty good chance. Just probably need average dice rolls to hit almost anything on the table. Then he gets Dark Shroud, which drops whatever he's in melee combat with, their armor by 2, which can really help with your jacks to get him into combat and do extra damage to whatever it is he's already attacking, which is pretty nice. He's got some stuff to even add on to that to make it even more disgusting. But he has Relentless Charge, so he gains Pathfinder when he charges something, which is nice because then he doesn't have to worry about having Pathfinder initially, because I know that's probably going to be a bit of a struggle for him. He also has Reversal. It says when a model misses this model with a charge or power attack, the attacking model is knocked down. So not just regular attacks, but if they go to charge him or slam him or whatever, and they miss, which defense 15, it's not bad. And whether you can find ways to boost that or not, whether it be in a cloud or something, I don't know. I think it's probably not going to work in a melee. But if you find ways to boost his defense, then it even makes him more survivable. Because then whatever charges him gets knocked down, and essentially that model's turn is over. So he's going to be able to start swinging on those suckers after that, and it's going to be pretty sick. He also has Snap Strike, which basically means that when he goes to buy an attack with a focus, he gets to attack with both of his melee weapons, not just one, which is really, really nice. And he's got, like I said, with his built-in abilities for his blades, his left blade, he has Soul Eater, which means when he destroys a living model with it, he gets to reap the soul, which obviously gets turned into focus later, which he can allocate to jacks, cast more spells, all the fun stuff. Pretty basic for Cricks, right? His right blade, however, has Death Strike, and this is the same ability that the Blood Witches have. So when he destroys a living model, then after resolving the attack, the model within 4 inches of that model takes a damage roll with a POW equal to the strength of the model that was destroyed. So if you kill something that has a strength of 6, then whatever's within 4 inches can take a POW 6 damage roll, and that's pretty neat. So, and that can be boosted, on which the Blood Witches can't do. So that's going to be pretty nice too to see how that works. You might be able to, if you kill something that's got a pretty good strength, you may be able to do a decent amount of damage to a model, nearby model, or warcaster. So, and it's an auto hit, which is always a bonus. So, so those are his abilities, and I think again this is where he's going to differ a little bit from what a lot of people are thinking about him. I think a lot of people are expecting him to be, like Gaspy, where he says, auto hit or something, chain. Where when he hits something, he can keep attacking it. But that's, not necessarily the case. But he does get 2 attacks every time with POW 13. He has Dark Shroud up with POW 15. And then we look at his spell list, and this can get even sicker. So he has, first spell he has is Blood Rain. Most of these spells Cricks players are already going to be familiar with. Blood Rain costs 3, range 8, it's AoE 3, POW 12. And when it hits a model, any models hit in the AoE suffer continuous corrosion. So... also, Convection. This is the new spell that most Cricks players aren't familiar with. Convection is cost 2, range 10, POW 12. It's an offensive spell. It says, when Convection destroys a living enemy model, allocate 1 focus point to a warjack in this model's battle group that's in its control area. So a lot of people think that, if you're going to spend the 2 to cast a spell, then you might as well just give the 2 focus to your jack. So it's one of those spells that a lot of people aren't really too crazy about. I think a lot of people don't really see the value in it, and you probably won't see people use it a whole lot unless it's, they just need that extra ranged attack. Then you've got occultation. It says target friendly model or unit gains stealth within 6 inches of him, of course. So you can give himself stealth, which will make him more survivable, or you can give it to a unit like Bane Knights, Bane Riders. A lot of things that could really enjoy having stealth that don't have it initially. And then he's got Parasite. And this is where, of course, you're going to take a couple arc nodes with him, but you hit something with Parasite mixed with the Dark Shroud, his own Dark Shroud, and is buying 2 attacks per turn. He's becomes a POW 18 on his weapons. So, and he gets 2 attacks for every focus you spend. That could be devastating to anything he's going after. Jacks, beasts, casters, you name it. That can do some serious damage. And then he's got teleport. So for 2, he can move himself anywhere completely, or anywhere within 8 inches of himself, not completely within. So he actually gets that little bit extra movement, as long as he's barely touching that 8-inch mark. So it gets him out of danger. So you could actually run in, and we'll look at his feet in a second. But you could pop his feet, get your attacks, save your last 2 focus, get him out, get everything else in. So it can work to his advantage to use that teleport, and I think it's going to make him really annoying to play against. But looking at his feat, it's called Dead on Arrival, and I'm pretty sure this is the same feat that his Signar version has. But it says enemy non-warlock, non-warcaster models in Sturgis' control area are pushed 3 inches directly towards Sturgis in the order you choose. Then, enemy models within 3 inches of Sturgis suffer a POW 12 magic damage roll. For each model destroyed on Dead on Arrival, you can allocate 1 focus point to a Warjack in Sturgis' battle group in his control area. So basically everything within 12 inches gets pushed 3 inches directly towards him, which may or may not be a good thing depending on where models are placed, because you may find certain things are in the way that you didn't initially see. But anything within 3 inches of them at that point take a POW 12 damage roll, and this is really going to clear out a lot of infantry, I think. But it's probably not going to do much against Jacks or Beast, although you could boost the damage rolls for that. And so he pulls everything in, takes the damage, and anything he destroys, he gets to throw focus out to his Jacks, which is always good. And then so you don't have to initially spend a lot of focus giving your Jacks points if you know you're going to pop his feet, because then if you know you're going to destroy a lot of things, you can give out your focus to your Jacks, and then send them in to do some serious damage afterwards. So yeah, his feats should be interesting. Although I think a lot of people are really complaining about him because this ability doesn't push warlocks or warcasters toward you, and I can see where people are really upset with that, because it's not really. There are other feats out there that are way more broken than this one, so I don't see why it doesn't push warcasters too. That does seem a little odd. So, but anyway, that's what we got. So, again, look forward to kind of playing both these models. Hopefully get a chance to play them on the show really soon. I think in my next game I'm going to be playing the Witch Coven, but then after that I'm definitely going to show you guys Sturgis and Aiakos, because I really want to show you guys what these models are capable of. I think that you're going to see a lot more both these guys on the playing field a lot here in the coming months, at least the ones that have him, and when he eventually gets his full release, then you're going to see these guys all over the place, but especially Aiakos. I think Aiakos is the big one to watch out for, because people are going to take him. Sturgis will be kind of, I think, an acquired taste. I think a lot of people who've already made up their mind about him aren't really willing to give him much of a shot. He's not Gatsby, he's not, Gorshade, he's not Terminus, but he's going to be fun in his own right. I think he's going to give us that little bit of challenge to get in there and do some damage, and I think a lot of people aren't going to expect it when they see him coming. So with all the abilities and spells that he has, I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you guys have any ideas, if you have played him so far and you want to let us know what combos really work with him, either of these 2 models, feel free to tell us in the comments below, and let our viewers know what's up with these two guys. And yeah, so there's that, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Counterslam.